digital has been pushing back the old film format away from cinemas. In this documentary, we will be showing the reasons why and what other people think about it.
To start things off, we're going to delve into history of cinemas themselves. The first cinema to open was the Nickelodeon in 1905. Ever since then, the cinema industry evolved into what it is today.
I remember being absolutely amazed. I went to London and saw Star Wars when it first came out, so before it ever got out to buses and sticks, and it was just absolutely amazing. It had like surround sound or something like that, so that as the ships came overhead and all that sort of thing, it was all rattling round the cinema. That was a really good experience because it was just such a different film, so that was quite exciting.
I think cinema was more dangerous, unpredictable, experimental in my childhood, during the 70s and the 80s. I think that there is now so much money at stake with every release that it leads to a fear of taking risks for the studios, and I think that the ticket prices lead to a fear of taking risks for the audience. If you're going to potentially spend £50 on going to the cinema, you want to make damn sure that it's actually going to entertain you, rather than the idea of turning up and going, oh well, let's take a risk, let's take a flyer, let's take a jump.
Star Wars: The Force Awakens is my favourite film because everybody shoots each other like this. Pew, pew, pew!
After the filming process is complete, the reels are copied and sent to the cinema to be shown to the public. It works by the film reel being played through a projector against a clear screen to show a clear picture. You could also change the focus and speed of the film. Nowadays, the film is put onto a DVD and then put onto a projector.
This new digital technology of filming and playing meant that the expensive film format was slowly losing its place in the filming and cinema industry. But was this necessarily a good thing?
At least it does nothing for me. It does nothing for me. I mean, I actually think I'm getting gypped when I go to a movie and I realize it's either been shot on digital or being projected in digital. I think it's the death cue. I think it's the death rattle. And, it's, yeah, I do. And I also have even another whole aspect about it. I've always believed in the magic of movies. And to me, the magic of movies is connected to 35mm.
I love the fact that there are some people that are hanging on to celluloid as an art form. I think the fact that people like Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan still shooting stuff 35mm, 70mm, I think it would be a shame if that alchemy died. I think there's a purity to actually shooting stuff on celluloid, not just in terms of the clarity of the image and all of those sorts of elements, but also in terms of the practice, in terms of getting things right in camera rather than the method of fixing things in post. And I think that there is an artistry and a purity that goes along with celluloid that at the moment we don't associate with digital. So I love the fact that there are still people operating with celluloid, and I will support them and champion them and shout it from the rooftops. However, I'm sticking with digital.
So we've seen what's happened to the cinema industry in the past and present. But with the future of home cinema and streaming, where does the future of cinema lead us?
Yeah, I think cinema will always be around. I think that in some form or another, it may change. As I say, if you've got things like 360-degree movies and stuff like that, it may well be that we'll all go to the cinema in a bubble and we'll all be looking around at it like that. But I think the idea of seeing a movie with your peers, with your friends, with your family, as a communal experience where you can all sit down the pub afterwards and have a pint and talk about it and all argue about it and all that sort of thing, it's just not the same. No matter how big your living room is, you'll never have the feeling of watching a comedy that's really, really, really working. If you watch a comedy that's really working with an audience of 400 people, you're never ever going to be able to replicate that watching that in your lounge. However big your family is, it's not going to be that same communal experience, and I think we as human beings are evolved to want that. We want to respond to things with us, with the rest of us. And so cinema won't die. It'll change, but it won't die.
I think there because it's going to be more cosier and there'll be like mini hovering TVs that are in front of you and you can see them.
Thank you for watching our documentary. We hope that you have some more insight into our current situation with cinemas, and maybe even have the knowledge to help out in the near future.